Alright guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a full walkthrough of my car, 2013 D22 Navara. We haven't done any build videos on YouTube. You may have seen on Instagram I've been posting little updates as we go. But today, now that it's mainly finished for the most part, I'm just going to do a full walkthrough of everything that I've done and why I've done it. Starting off at the front, we've got eBay special headlights that are blacked out. The old ones were pretty faded, so I thought I'd just replace them with the black ones instead of chrome ones. I think they look better. Changed the front indicators as well from the factory ones that have orange and white to just an all white LED one that are half parker and half indicator. And the bull bar is just the standard ARB bull bar that comes with the car from factory. I haven't changed it or even taken it off at all. On the bull bar I've got the Light Fox spotlights from Vic Off-Road. They've been really good. They've got the spread around the outside and a laser in the middle, which have been really handy for driving at night. The bash plate is standard from factory. It goes kind of back to the sump. It doesn't fully cover the sump, so I'll get one to cover that at a later date, but the front diff is fully covered from factory. Then under the number plate I've got a 13,000 pound bunker winch that thankfully I haven't had to use yet, but it's got wireless remote or wired remote, and it's also got a terminal on the front that I use to plug in a light as well, just like a standard cigarette socket on the front. That's quite useful for if you need to plug something in at the front. Just any sort of power will come on with or without the ignition, so that's been really handy. If you want to see a more in-depth review of the spotlights and the winch, there's two full videos on the channel about them individually. The antennas on the front, this one's a GME one that I just got randomly that was lying at home. I don't exactly know the specs on it. It's wired up at the moment, and then I've got this one that I'm going to plug in as well so I can switch between them. This one's had a few issues with cutting out and static noises, so I'll leave this one here as kind of a backup, and then I'm going to wire this one up as the main one. This one's just a Uniden one that I believe I got from BCF on special, so I don't exactly know what the specs are. This one I'm going to mainly use for highway driving, but these aren't too good off-road. Bouncing all around, it kind of messes with the signal, so this is going to be the main one I use specifically for when I'm off-road. The snorkel is just from Outback Equipment. I believe the brand is Tough Terrain. It was for a single battery model D22. This one came with the 2 batteries, so I just took this side battery out and then put a bigger one on the other side to give it the space to breathe. The tyres are just a generic all-terrain. I'm not sure exactly of the brand. I just got them from Facebook Marketplace that came with the rims. The rims are 16-inch off a GU Patrol. I believe they're stock on the TI model, which I've taken and just sprayed black. They fit pretty much directly onto these cars and sit very flush with the guard, so that's why I got them, and they look better than the stock ones that came with Navara. They're pretty ugly, so this has been a good replacement. And the tyre size for them is 265/70 R16, or I guess closer to a 31-inch tyre. The roof rack is from Aussie 4x4. I believe it's just a steel flat rack, which I got during COVID, so it's been about 4 years that I've had it on now. And it mounts through the roof, so I did have to drill holes to actually bolt it in from under the roof lining. The only other option for roof racks on these is to have it clamped onto the door, like when the door shuts it clamps it in there, which I didn't really want to do because I wanted a flat rack and I wanted it as low as possible, so this has worked out really well. And then on it I've got a King's, I believe it's 42-inch light bar that's, I actually don't have it plugged in anymore because all it did was just light up the bonnet. So I just leave it here to kind of fill in the gap, and then the spotlights do all the work. And the solar panel that I have is a 110 watt XTM solar panel from BCF, which goes down the back through the canopy window into the canopy and hooks up to the DC charger. It's been really helpful for when I'm parked up at camp for multiple days, and that can just bring in heaps of sunlight and keep the battery charged. So mounted to the roof racks of the canopy here, I've got a 270 XTM awning, which has been really good. It pretty much comes out from here on kind of a diagonal angle and then goes all the way around to the back, which has been really good, like when cooking on the tailgate or doing everything from the back. And then walking around here, I have the lights that are mounted to the pole, LED lights, and then I just plug them in through the window. And then on the back of the ute tub, I've put on a ARB canopy. You can get a few different models. I think from the oldest D22 to 2010, they're a shorter tub, and then 2010 to 15 are longer. So I had to make sure I got the right one, which is actually pretty hard to find. And you can get ones where the windows open or slide. Unfortunately, I got the ones that slide. I do wish that they kind of open like a gull wing, which I'll probably change at a later date, but so far it's been really good. And the roof racks have like a steel rack system on the inside that bolt through holes in the roof, and then that's what I've got everything mounted to. So for the rooftop tent, I've got a June Nomad from Anaconda. This has been really good. I keep sleeping bags in there still. I don't keep pillows in, but sleeping bags fit in there, no worries. And it's been really, really easy to set up. And then bolted to the side, I've got the Sandhema shower tent from Vic Off-Road. This has been really good. Pretty much any time like you just need any sort of privacy or coverage, not just for a shower, this has been really handy, like especially on a beach or in a caravan park. This has been an awesome addition. This is bolted onto the tent with Drifter awning brackets, because Drifter and June have the same frame. And then the actual bars that the tent is mounted on are just steel beams from Bunnings, and then we've kind of custom made mounts that go straight into the internal support beam. These are a fair bit thicker than the factory option, which are kind of like plastic rhino rack bars, which I wasn't really confident that would hold. I think it's around 80 kilos, so I wasn't really confident that plastic was going to hold it. So these ones are a fair bit thicker and also have room to slot the awning brackets in, which are on the other side. So in the tub I have a 1300mm King's drawer. This was a double, and then I pretty much just cut the frame in half and just made it into a single. This does slide back and forward, but I've kind of got it bolted in so it stays put, because I don't really need to slide anything on it. Here I just keep a jerry can for water, a fire blanket, and then there's a few little things back there like a hammer, tent pegs, spare coolant for some reason, and also the ladder for the tent. And usually if it's a big trip, I'll have like plastic tubs there with like stuff that you would just put in a normal cupboard. I'll keep in tubs here. Or if it's a smaller trip, I usually just chuck deck chairs, like the recovery tracks, whatever. It's kind of like dead space that I can put just whatever I want depending on the trip. So on this side I've got a King 75 litre Stays Cool fridge. This is the one with the C-Cob compressor. I believe they only sold it for a short period of time with that one in it and then stopped. I'm not sure why, but this one has been really, really good. I'm very happy with it. It's pretty similar to like the older Waco styles, I believe. And then down the side I keep my June double cooker, which fits like perfectly. That was not planned, but it fits perfectly down the side. Here I kind of just have cigarette socket USB ports that I plug in for the lights. These ones plug into that, and then just have like the little knob that comes with it that you turn to change the brightness, and they just plug straight into that. And then at the back there's a King's control panel with a 40 amp DC-DC charger on it, and the battery sits just behind the fridge. There's like a plastic tub that I just have random stuff in, and there's a slimline battery that's sitting back there. I'm gonna get a battery tray to put it in, but right now it's kind of just ratchet strapped to the back with tie down points, and it just kind of pulls it against the back of the tub. So then on the inside I've just got a steering wheel cover from Autobahn, which has been really helpful because the top of the steering wheel has been cracking. So I'm just going to put this on to protect it. Here I've got just a wireless charger that mounts via the case that I have on my phone. It's like a magnet or MagSafe, I believe, that connects on here and charges, which is really handy. It does get pretty hot in the sun though, so sometimes I have to unplug it because the sun kind of goes straight through the windscreen. Next to the steering wheel I've got the GME radio. This is just, I believe we got it on clearance from TJM, so I'm not sure exactly of the model. But it's not an XRS, like it doesn't have everything in the handset. It kind of is just mounted down there where the handbrake normally goes on the lower spec models. In where the ashtrays were, I have Mullet Mods, I believe they are cup holders, which are very useful because there are no cup holders but like 50 ashtrays in here for some reason. And then here I've just got an eBay head unit that has been really handy for wireless CarPlay, which I can use along with the wireless charging, so I don't actually have to plug into anything. This has been really handy because then I pretty much don't have to have any cables for phones or anything like that. And then for passengers I've just got like a cigarette socket and USB thing down there to plug any random USB things into. It's also, if I haven't mentioned, a 5-speed manual transmission. And also under the seats I have, I believe it's a Pioneer subwoofer, slimline subwoofer that sits under the driver's seat and is controlled with this these little knobs here that kind of you can change the bass, the depth and stuff, and you pretty much manage it all through there. It's really good, and then you don't have to touch anything on the head unit. It kind of just plugs straight into the back. Then in the back here we've got a false floor that me and Ryan built ourselves. It doesn't have any holes drilled, which was kind of a goal that I was trying to go for. So for the back bit it bolts into where the headrests went for the seats. And then it's kind of on tension, so there's bits of wood going along the bottom that push against the back wall to kind of keep tension on it. And then the bottom is screwed into where the seat, like the bottom part of the seat was a separate piece, and there's 2 bolts at the bottom kind of like on the floor, and that's where this bottom part bolts into. I've only had this in for about a month or a few weeks, but it's been really handy so far. I'm excited to test it out on bigger trips like Fraser Island. I should be able to put a lot more stuff across here. And then on here there's nothing, but there is storage. And then on the other side I keep recovery gear, first aid kit and stuff like that. Then on that side there is a King's mini control panel. I pretty much just use that for USB ports because the ones at the front only work when the ignition is on. That one is connected to the battery. It goes through like a little grommet behind the false floor and then into the tub and plugs into the battery, which is only like that far away from it, but it has to go through two parts of like two walls. On the tub there's a hole from where there was a tie down point which goes through, but I did have to drill a hole to get power to go through between the cab and the tub. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll get back to all of them, or you can message us on Instagram. I've got some posts on there that I've kind of tried to keep a diary of everything that I've done. There's kind of progress pictures on there if you want to see. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.